Okay, this guy is one of only 12 people to have ever been to the moon, and he gets asked a very simple question. Do you think aliens are demons or actual aliens? And listen to what he says. This is super interesting here.
You believer in UFOs, alien life?
No, I don't believe in alien life. I believe that God showed me a specific answer to two prayers, that they're demonic.
So this is an astronaut, a veteran, and one of only 12 people to go to the moon. And he's asked, do you believe in UFOs? Do you believe in aliens? This guy's been to space, been to the moon. And his answer is no. God already showed me that aliens are actually demons, which is what I believe. 100%. We'll go on and talk more
and
about
that they're demonic beings that make an appearance and appear to be real, and they are real. Satan, Bible says, Satan can appear as an angel of light. Mm-hmm. So they can appear, and so nothing human can make a 90-degree turn at 3,000 miles an hour and survive. And so
interesting. Okay, so he's saying the UFOs and stuff and aliens, they are real, but they're not what you think they are. They're actually demons. So there's a lot of talk right now in the White House and politics about aliens and classified information and releasing the files about aliens and UFOs and all of this. He's not saying they're not real, which a lot of Christians will say, like, no, that's real. No, it is real. It's just that these are demonic spirits. These are demons. These are deceptive, unclean spirits that are doing this. And listen, you want to see aliens? You want to see deliverance? Go watch our movie Come Out in Jesus' Name. You'll see deliverance. You'll see demons. You'll see quote unquote aliens, because that's really what's going on.
So they have these, and I think the purpose is to draw you away from the real God and say, look at us, and this is where you ought to be, because we are superhuman and we can do it. So that's my feeling. People laugh at me generally, but I'm not going to be. I don't care. Because,
I love you. I love you.
Yeah, God He's answered prayers, my prayers specifically. And so I said, and I get laughed at when people say, well, that's what God told me, so I'm going to say that they're demonic beings, and there's not any extraterrestrial, not superhuman, but other civilizations out there that are farther away from us. It's a distraction from God.
Were you a God-fearing man when you went up?
I was a Christian.
And I think that the whole UFO aliens thing will play into the rapture, play into the end times. People will just say it's the aliens. Church didn't get raptured. People don't get taken to the aliens that came. So the devil's going to use it to pervert. Now, here's another interview with an astrophysicist asked about UFOs and aliens. These people are way more educated than I am, obviously, especially on this topic. But it's interesting to hear people that are so educated in this field of space travel and all of that. I don't even know what the astrophysicist, whatever you want to call it, that are saying, no, these things are demonic. So listen to this.
Not a literal alien flying around in space in the physical.
Well, back in the 1960s, the U.S. government commissioned the physicist Allen Hynek to investigate the UFO phenomena. And he was the one that came up with this term, close encounters of the first kind, second kind, and third kind. And what you notice in these, a close encounter of the first kind is where the human contactee is within 500 feet of the UFO phenomena. And when you're talking about the second kind, this is where they actually begin to experience some kind of physical harm. There have even been instances where people have been killed or their animals have been killed. And then there's instances where people claim to have direct communication with UFO beings.
Okay, so he's talking about, there used to be a show called Close Encounters, but he's talking about something else where people come in contact with aliens. I remember years ago at a hotel seeing a show where, this is so many years ago, where people were describing their experience with aliens, with the UFOs and aliens and getting abducted at night and stuff and, getting chips put in them, getting attacked, all of this. If you listen to that and you don't know that they're talking about aliens, you just think they're having a demonic experience. They're being attacked by demons. Because if you talk to someone who's been attacked at night by demons, or has a demonic experience, it's the same verbiage and experience that people have with aliens, which more proof that aliens are demonic. So, but people don't know how to describe them. They don't know to say it's a demon, so they just say it's an alien. But, and aliens do masquerade as demons do masquerade as aliens and tell people, you're from another planet. I mean, there's a lot people go down that trail of you're from another planet, you're a star seed, and you're actually an alien, and demons will deceive you into that. So he's talking about these people have these close encounters with aliens.
But what's interesting about these close encounters, it's never beneficial. It's always deleterious.
That's it.
The best you're going to come away from with one of these encounters is recurring, terrifying nightmares. Worst case scenario, you get killed.
So he's saying these scenarios where aliens encounter people, they always are bad. They're always nefarious. They're always dark. They're always negative, which again, more proof that they're demonic.
So they're harmful, but there's also evidence that there's deception involved in these encounters. Because when people claim to have had conversation with these UFO beings, they will claim, well, in fact, if you go back 100 years ago, they were saying they were from the backside of the moon. But when the public became educated enough to realize that's not credible, they changed their story. And
Interesting. So he's saying the aliens changed their story. So they were people that were contacting these quote unquote aliens. The aliens were saying, we're from the backside of the moon. Well, then we went to the moon, and then the aliens changed their story.
well, we're from Venus. And when people realized how hot it is on the surface of Venus, they said they were from Mars. Well, now they're claiming to be from another planetary system. So the fact that they keep changing their story, and then you got those cases where the human contactee goes into a trance, and then they begin to type out what the UFO being wants them to communicate. And
It sounds like automatic writing, by the way. That sounds very similar to what
it's automatic writing, and it's
Occult.
extensive.
It's using the
I
occult.
mean, probably the most dramatic example would be a big book, the Arantia book. It's kind of the Bible for all these UFO cults. And some editions run 4,000 pages. The entire book was communicated through automatic writing.
Sounds like the Book of Mormon. sounds like the Book of Mormon. You know, Joseph Smith has this vision from a demon and writes it all down. But yeah, I mean, demons do possess people in a way where it gets them to write automatic writing, and they write things that the demons want them to write. The demon uses their body to communicate a message, and there's books that are thousands of pages that were written by literal demons because demons were invoking into people and influencing them. I've done a lot of interviews with people from the occult and New Age, and this is all right on track with what's going on there.
But what's interesting about the Arantia book, about a third of its content denies the deity of Jesus Christ. So there, I think you can see the deceptive motivation behind this UFO phenomena. And in this book, Lights in the Sky and Little Green Men, we point out that we have a scientific testable model for this UFO phenomena. Because what you notice in these close encounters, it's exclusively experienced by people who have significant involvement in the occult. And when you remove that occult factor, that's the end of the UFO encounters. Increase the degree of occult, you increase the frequency of these UFO encounters. And as we document in this book, you notice there's a much higher incidence of these close encounters in nations where there's a high incidence of occult involvement.
Wow.
Examples would be
So
France, Equatorial Brazil. And I got to see this firsthand when I went to the Soviet Union when the communists were in control. And what I noted back then is that the Soviet Union was sponsoring occult physics research at their major universities. And so a lot of the physicists I was engaging at that time were deeply involved in the occult. Many of them were demon possessed, and many of them were having these close encounters with UFOs. Now, when you go back to Russia, the incidence of that has dramatically dropped because the incidence of occult involvement has dramatically dropped. So
listen to that, guys. Are you catching this? He says where there's high occult activity, those UFO encounters, those alien encounter stories are very prevalent, right? They're invoking those demons. When then you remove that occult influence, you don't see these alien encounters, these UFO encounters. So more proof that it is demonic. And the reason why we're even talking about any of this is so that we're aware of the deception. So when this is happening, don't get caught up in the obsession with aliens. Don't get caught up in what's going on. You'll just recognize these are demons. They're deceptive. They're deceiving people. We're not going to get stuck in the mass deception.
I end this book by saying, close all the doors to occult involvement in your life and the life of your close relatives. That'll be the end of your UFO encounters. This is a testable model.
Wow.
You know, I have to tell you, as you're describing all of this, you know, my background, one of the things I've worked on is...
I need to invite this guy into the podcast, this astrophysicist. I know Mike Signorelli's had him on before. Interesting stuff, guys. Kind of just begs, kind of just puts rest to the question of, are aliens real? And in reality, they are demons. I do not believe there's any life form on some other planet or this or that. These are demonic spirits in the unseen realm that are making contact with humans like they're doing every single day. We need to be eyes open, aware of it. I have a whole book about fighting these demons, these quote unquote aliens, how to cast out demons. Jesus gives us power and commissions us. You can find that in the description to cast out demons. That's the bottom line. We're live Monday with our Bible teaching, Thursday with our podcast. We have a new guest pretty much every single week. And pray about partnering with our ministry. You could support down below or on IsaiahSaldivar.com/partner for any amount a month. You'll get a free digital copy of my book, 70 sermons, 20% off our merch store, and our 1 p.m. prayer call invites on Thursdays. I love and appreciate you guys. Let me know what you think of this down below. Do you believe in aliens? Do you have better understanding or evidence or anything like that? Let me know in the description. What are you talking about? I've been up, guys. We just had our 5th baby. I have not been sleeping. So I don't know what I'm talking about. In the comments down below. We'll see you guys in the next video. God bless.